for Sunday afternoon, especially Sunday night into early Monday morning. I'm becoming more concerned about the rain and a little bit less concerned about the wind. It looks like this storm will have a lot of moisture, at least 2 to 4 inches of rain widespread across the state, and there could be some isolated areas that pick up closer to or maybe even over 5 inches of rain. As a result, poor drainage areas, city streets vulnerable to flooding, that's a possibility. The rivers and streams will be on the rise and will have to be watched early Monday morning. Some of them could be rising out of their banks, especially if you're in a place that gets some of those higher end totals. Wind is a secondary concern. I think in much of the state, the gusts will be manageable in between the 30 and 45 mile per hour range. That's enough to blow around some holiday decorations and cause some minor damage, but that's usually not enough for any power outages on a wide scale. That said, if you're on the shoreline and in southeastern Connecticut, there is some potential for gusts to 50 miles per hour, and that's where some power outages may happen Sunday night. And by the way, on the backside of this storm, if you're in Litchfield County in the Northwest Hills, it could end as a little bit of snow. These setups usually don't produce much snow, but there could be a touch of snow on the backside of the storm Monday morning. The entire state under a flood watch. That's really the biggest concern out of this storm. There is a wind advisory for a smaller area, the shoreline in New Haven, Middlesex, and New London County. That's where we could have some gusts that get close to 50 miles per hour, causing some outages. Want to show you the storm. It is very dynamic and impressive. You can see the swirl up over the Great Lakes, and then out ahead of it, all of this moisture being pulled north. There are actually tornadoes this afternoon in parts of Tennessee. Some big ones, it seemed, so far too. So all of this moisture is going to be directed our way for Sunday night. Overnight tonight, the only weather issue will be some patches of fog forming. It's a fairly mild night with temperatures only dropping into the 40s. Your Sunday morning starts out mostly cloudy with some patches of fog, and then we'll see some showers developing, I think around 10 or 11 in the morning. A few showers may be out there, not widespread, but some rain may be falling in spots. It's as we go into the afternoon, we'll have periods of rain varying in intensity. At times the rain may lighten up or it may be dry, and at other times there could be a couple of downpours coming through. But it's really after about 6 o'clock in the evening, a front coming in from the west, a storm developing on it, will produce pretty widespread downpours overnight. And look at the temperatures here at 10 o'clock Sunday night. This particular model showing Hartford at 62, Norwich 61, but New Milford and Torrington 48 and 47. As you get farther northwest, the air will be a bit less stable. Southern and eastern Connecticut a bit more unstable, and that's why we think the strongest winds will be in this part of the state. As we go through the early morning hours, showers and downpours, maybe even some thunder coming through, and then the strongest push of rain should be out of our state by about 5 or 6 in the morning. Still some lingering rain, but notice the dropping temperatures down into the 40s and possibly even the 30s in the northwest by Monday morning, and that's where there could be a quick flip over to some wet snow. Usually these setups don't produce much accumulation, but that said, in the hills of Litchfield County, there could be a coating of snow on the backside of the storm Monday morning, and then the rest of the day Monday will be breezy to windy, but the winds at that point coming in out of the northwest. Here's a look at the rainfall with this storm. Again, it's a widespread 2 to 4 inches of rain, but a lot of our data is pointing at parts of central or especially eastern Connecticut with the potential to see some 5-inch amounts. Again, that's pretty high for this point in the year. Usually cold season storms that happen in the winter don't have this much moisture. So flooding of poor drainage areas, city streets, and some rivers and streams possible Sunday night into Monday morning with this amount of water falling in such a short period of time. Now let's talk about the wind. You saw that the rain is impressive, but you'll be able to tell here that the wind is really not as impressive here in Connecticut. It gets gusty Sunday evening, but the strongest push of wind will really be in what we call the warm sector, the warmest part of the air, and that would be southeastern Connecticut over into Rhode Island and southeastern Mass. That's where the potential for some gusts hitting 50 miles per hour is more likely. Western and central Connecticut, a much lower chance for that, which is why we really think any power outages that happen would be in southern and eastern Connecticut. On the backside of the storm Monday, it will remain gusty. Could have some wind gusts out of the west-northwest that get to about 30 miles per hour. Here's a look at the peak gust forecast, or in other words, the highest gust you'll see in the storm. 30 to 45 miles per hour over much of the state. That's pretty manageable. But if you're in the red area, the shoreline from New Haven east and then southeast Connecticut, there could be some gusts to 50 miles per hour, and that's where some outages are possible. So a couple of things to consider here. The biggest thing would probably be if you've got storm drains clogged with leaves in front of your house, gutters clogged up, clear them out, check your sump pump, because with the amount of rain that we're getting, there will be some flooding that happens Sunday night into Monday morning. If you're along the shoreline, there could be some splash over or very minor coastal flooding in the most vulnerable areas. However, it's some good news here. The strongest winds are kind of between the high tide cycles. So I don't think we'll have major problems at the shore, but with the amount of rain we're getting and possibly some splash over, there could be some minor coastal flooding as well. Here's a look at the 7-day forecast. This again moves out Monday morning. The afternoon is windy with temperatures dropping into the 40s. Mostly sunny and quiet for Tuesday. Could be a few flurries, especially inland on Wednesday as a disturbance comes in late in the day. Then it's chilly for Thursday, but it looks like temps moderate for Friday into the weekend. You can get the latest on fox61.com and our news app, and we'll have a full update tonight on the news at 10 and 11.